So the Cadence CR10 11ft match rods. We've got 3 rods in the range, 1, 2 and 3. And one consistent theme is they're all 2-piece, which is absolutely fantastic because obviously you can leave them set up in a rod sleeve or a rod bag.
Perfect, yeah.
Okay. We've got Fuji Alkanite guides throughout, which are proven top quality guides. We've got a Fuji reel seat. And what you can see, especially with this number 1, is how slim they are. They're beautiful slim banks, aren't they, Paul?
I love them. It's so lightweight and so soft, it's just absolutely perfect.
So just to explain quickly the difference between 1, 2 and 3.
Yeah.
1 is the softer rod and 3 is the most powerful in the range. And we get a lot of questions regularly about...
I can imagine.
Customers asking which would be the best rod for their situation. And when you're talking about these 11-foot rods, I think it's pretty much purely down to the reel line, the hook lengths and hook size and fish that you're targeting. So the number 1, Paul, I know this is one of your favourites.
It is my favourite, James.
Talk to us about that one.
The reason I love this is in particular for my silver fishing. I do a lot of silver fishing matches through the winter. This rod is so soft yet responsive, and as we all know, the progressive action, absolutely brilliant. But I can get away with really light lines, light hook lengths. I go 06, 08, I have no fears of going that light with a hook length for bream.
I think, Paul, if you could just hold the rod up a bit more against the sky, look. If I flex it, that just emphasises what we're talking about. You've got that beautiful hollow tip. Yeah. All of the rods in the range have got a hollow tip, but it's a very, very fine hollow tip, isn't it? And that's where you're talking about cushioning the strike if you're fishing fine lines and small hooks.
If you're a bit heavy-handed, like I can be, and you get a bit excited with the fast bites from roach, because you respond, don't you?
Yeah.
To a bite, float goes under quick, you strike quick. It's just human nature.
But if you could really flex that now, Paul, you'll see that it continues to bend progressively. And that's the thing with all our match rods. You don't want that action to lock up.
No.
So say if you did hook a better fish whilst you were fishing for silverfish, you've still got a fighting chance of landing.
And I have done that.
Yeah.
I've hit carp running the opposite way, and you pulling on that, I can hardly feel it on the rod, which tells me that it's lovely and soft. So you can imagine on a strike, if the floats and the fish is staying where it is and you're still pulling back, that rod with its forgiving action will save your hook length cracking off.
Another thing that's hard to show on a video is how responsive they are, though. It's not floppy, is it? You know, in the past you could have a soft rod that was very floppy.
Yeah.
They've still got a nice, fast, responsive action, but you've just got that beautiful curve, that soft curve. That a lot of anglers use them on the fens in the winter for waggler fishing. I love using mine on the canal as well when I'm fishing a waggler on the canal.
Yeah. Well, as you know, I fish the Aaron Calder and canal and places like that. And this rod is perfect for the short cast to the far bank for those chub that hang along the far bank.
Well, I know that would probably be your favourite.
It is my favourite, as you'll know, James. It's my favourite.
So that's the number 1. In terms of reel lines, I'd be using that from £2 to £3 typically.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you couldn't fish it with £4. Of course
or 14.
Could. Yeah. That's what this rod's designed for.
Yeah.
I know some anglers will use them for F1s in the winter, smaller F1s, which is another great advantage of the rod. But for me, I'd be using £2 to £3 mainline, typically on that.
That's right, yeah. They're a great rod for the winter F1s where they're a bit slower.
Yeah.
And they don't thrash about so much.
And the fact that you've got that action when you get the fish close. So moving on to the number 2. So we're stepping up in power now. And again, it's a very hard thing to show on a video. We still can see that nice curve. You can still see the soft tip, but you can feel an extra power.
Now when you're starting to pull, I can feel I have to pull against it, whereas with that one, it was just so soft in your hands. But this, so you can feel the power starting to build up on it as you pull.
And if I pull even more, you can still see that it doesn't lock up. It's continuing to flex right down into the butt.
Yeah, a great action on that.
So I know the number 2 is very, very popular for pellet waggler fishing for carp.
Yeah.
You know, small to medium sized carp, occasional big carp. It's a great rod for fishing shallower lakes when you're fishing for fish like tench and bream. Very, very versatile, and probably being number 2, the most versatile rod in the range, I would say.
Well, this was the first one you introduced me to.
Yeah.
And if you remember and recall, Stonebridge with those chub up in the water.
Yeah.
Absolutely ideal for that because we're fishing 2 to 3 foot deep max.
Yeah.
And it's got the power to control, especially chub, when they're trying to get in the undergrowth.
Where perhaps the number 1 you'd start to struggle, especially if you're hooking more than 1 or 2.
Well, that's right.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got that increase in power, and to reflect that, I'd want to be using this with a main line 3 to 5 pound, let's say.
Yeah, an R16.
Something like that. So on the 3 pound on the lighter side, you could be using it still for silverfish. In the winter. Once you start stepping up to catching bigger fish like the carp on the pellet waggler, you're going to be fishing 4 or 5 pound main line.
You are, yeah.
So that's the number 2. And then finally in this range, we've got the number 3. So obviously that's the most powerful rod in the range. Again, I want to emphasize that nice soft tip. So a lot of people say to me, oh, I fish a lake, I like catching the silverfish, but we do catch some good carp, some hard fighting tench.
Yeah.
And when I ask them what mainline they're using, they say, oh, I'm using 6 pound mainline. Yeah. Straight away, I guide them to the number 3.
Same here, absolutely, yeah.
So again, if you can bend that pull, and I'll try and just emphasize, it's still not a poker, is it?
Oh no, the action's still there.
Yeah, I don't think you ever want a rod that's bending in the tip and then totally
that
stiff.
just locks up in the top end.
But this one, even with that now as I'm pulling, I'm bending it right down.
And you can still
the
see it's down, bending down to the butt, which is what you want.
Yeah. So number 3, also an advantage if you're using bigger floats.
Yeah.
So you may be fishing a heavier pellet waggler
to
at longer
range.
Yep. Obviously, the extra power in the rod's going to help with that.
For me, punch a float out.
That's an out-and-out sort of power rod for being sensible. So it's not a specimen rod, but it's a match rod that you can still catch silverfish on. I've caught roach on this on a 16 hook, an 18 hook, no problem. But for me, if I could focus on one thing for this, it's fishing for bigger fish, bigger hooks, heavier mainline.
Harder fighting fish.
Yeah.
And that rod, I use quite a lot on the River Swale.
I was going to mention rivers,
Yeah, I use it, in the tight pegs under trees, under willows,
when you're not
stuff
fishing
like
too
that.
far out on
That's
a smaller river.
On a narrower streamy river.
That's it.
Where you're targeting, or I am targeting chub, but you catch dacer grayling and it's great. You don't bounce off them. Great rod.
Absolutely.
And as you can see, those rods of mine, they're well used.
Well, they are, and that's the great thing about it. These rods have been out on the market now for some time. We've got a great following with them, and people just love the versatility. So you might start off with a 2 and think, actually, I wouldn't mind a softer version or a more powerful version, and you've still got the option of buying it and adding it to your range.
Yeah, well, that's how it started with me. Started with the 2, then I asked you for a softer one. And then we suddenly thought I could do with a bit more power for those carp fishing days. Pellet wagglers for the bigger carp.
So in conclusion, on the main line, on the number 3, I'll be probably £4 minimum, and I would go up to £8. That would be the absolute maximum main line that I'd use on this rod, and that's what we've rated it up to. Obviously, when you start going heavier than that anyway, you're crossing over into the sort of more specimen type rods.
Well, my choice for lines is pretty basic. Number 1 014, number 2 016, and number 3 018.
That's a great guide.
That's the way I think about it.
Well, that's a great guide. I suppose we should again emphasise just how light they are, even the number 3. How slim the blanks are. Obviously, our business model is we sell direct, so that's how we can offer such a top spec product at such a competitive price. It always amazes people when they actually try them out and see them.
You talk about how light they are and things like that. The one thing that's important to me when I'm continually catapulting, casting, winding in, is it being light. I can use these rods all day long, and I have no aches and pains when I get home And for a pensioner, that's not bad, is it?
Fantastic, Paul.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll finish off by saying all of the specs and prices are on our website.
Yep.
And we've used these in several videos, so we'll put the links to the videos that we've used.
Yeah.
So thanks for your help, Paul.
No problem, James.